What about UFOs? Hi, it's Calvin Smith here, and welcome to Creation Basics, where our goal is to make God's creation part of your everyday conversation. And today's question is, what about UFOs? For years, many people have claimed to see, strange objects and lights and shapes, and they're commonly called UFOs, unidentified flying objects. And this has increased quite a bit since the 1940s. Now, some people think that UFO believers are just wacky people who saw shiny lights and that type of thing. But the amount of people from all walks of life that have claimed to have had an experience is sometimes pretty hard to ignore. Is it really possible that aliens are traveling from other planets to visit us? Well, in this episode, we're going to kind of get into the nuts and bolts of this topic. You see, shows like Star Trek, well, they make space travel look pretty easy, right? But the scientific reality of the physics of the universe tell us something a little different. For example, the universe is big. It's really, really big. The closest star, Proxima Centauri, to Earth is something like 4.2 light years away. And that means if you travel at light speed, 300,000 kilometers per second, you'd get there in about 4.2 years. Now, when we sent people to the moon on the Apollo mission, it took 3 days to get there. At the same speed we went to get to the moon, it would take us something like 870,000 years to get to Proxima Centauri. Now, of course, most aliens are supposed to be more technologically advanced and developed, things like light speed. We commonly hear these things. Now, if there are aliens visiting us, they'd need it because space is so big. But if these are real, then these capabilities would still have to function in real time and space. I mean, light speed itself is a huge problem. Einstein's theory of relativity predicts that an object that reaches the speed of light would also reach infinite mass. So how could it be accelerated? But without light speed or better, traveling around the universe would take too long. And even the energy needed for, less than light speed would be enormous. Calculations have shown that the energy requirements for a manned spacecraft weighing several tons to get up to just a tenth of the speed of light would take more than the entire world's daily electricity consumption. So far, we have no testable way to produce this kind of energy, so, let alone mount it on a ship. But these sci-fi shows, they talk about wormholes and hyperspace and antimatter drives like they were real things. But the truth is, they're fictional with very little scientific support. But even if you could generate and maintain the energy required, there are some other problems as well. For example, getting up to light speed sounds simple enough, but if your car went from 0 to 10,000 kilometers per hour suddenly, you'd be a bug splat on your windshield pretty fast. And the same thing would happen when you slowed down. That's why you always hear terms like inertial dampeners tossed around when you watch sci-fi. It's called technobabble. But no one's even come up with a good theory to figure out how you'd overcome these types of problems. And let's say you get your spaceship moving that fast. Well, what about bumping into stuff? Dust or rocks or comets or planets or stars. There's an estimated 100,000 dust particles in a cubic kilometer of space. And even the impact of a piece weighing like 0.1 gram, if you were traveling 1/10 the speed of light, would equal an explosion of about 10 tons of TNT going off on the outside of your ship. So you'd better hope your shields are up there, laddie. Well, how about things like sensors? I mean, if you were going warp speed, in these ships, you'd have to have sensors traveling ahead of you faster than the ship to provide enough time to, detect potential problems, transmit the information back to the ship, and allow it, enough time to do something about it. Try imagine, zigzagging around, space dust while you're traveling at a decent speed. I mean, it's pretty funny. So modern science tells us the idea of little green men flying all over the universe isn't very realistic. Then what is going on? What about UFOs? Well, even though there are many UFO sightings, we have no verifiable evidence that extraterrestrial craft are coming in and out of our atmosphere. Most can be chalked up to mistaken identity, natural phenomenon, and outright hoaxes, while a small number seem truly strange. So it seems this is just one, front in a spiritual war to divert people away from the truth of Scripture. Hey folks, Calvin here. I know you've heard it all before. Subscribe, hit the buttons, all that stuff. But here's the thing. Think of it as if you're donating to our Answers in Genesis Canada advertising campaign without having to spend a dime. With the algorithms set up the way they are, it's kind of like getting media platforms that are often quite unfriendly to Christian content to promote gospel outreach for free. Wise as serpents, gentle as doves. So subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, share the content, click the button. I know it's annoying, but it really helps.